Okay, so that passages, I am sure if you have seen your previous year papers, you must have observed that they are not, I mean, a lot of times they can be on the philosophical side, on the abstract side. The difficulty level of the language can also be higher, right? So that's why we should choose our sources accordingly. One very good exercise is that you see from which sources your past year RCs have appeared. And if you do that, you will find sources as diverse as one is Eon, that's an evergreen source. Then there's this website called abc.net. That was the source of a passage last year. Then Quartz was a source, right? Quartz is a magazine, popular magazine. Psyche.co, which is a, it's a magazine within Eon.co. That has also been a source of your RCs. Then the newspapers, the Guardian, the NYT. But since you're asking particularly to read something on humanities and social sciences, so one is Eon. Here you will get a lot of humanities and social science articles. Then there is this website called Arts and Letters Daily. This has more of literature articles, right? So literature articles, then philosophy, history. So humanities will also come here, right? It has humanities articles as well, right? So Eon, Arts and Letters Daily. Then apart from this, a couple of other sources. See, then there are magazines. For instance, Economic and Political Weekly. This magazine will have some really interesting social science articles. Economic and Political Weekly. This is a magazine. Okay, so these can be some sources for you. All right, I hope this helps. Hi Maitri, good noon. Hi Mandeep, hello Harshad. Good noon Shreya. Hi Amrit. Right. So these are some sources for humanities and social science articles. And to be honest, you should read some books also, right? Which are, let's say, on history, on psychology, on sociology, right? So read some books also related to them. That will help you because the sources of your RC passages have not just been newspapers and magazines. If you again go and look at your past year papers, some of them have been book excerpts as well in that, right? Okay. Now, what is it that we are going to do today? See, the agenda is to teach you words through etymology, right? What is etymology? Etymon means origin, logy is study. So the study of origin of words. So what I've done is I've taken various question formats, synonym, antonym, fill in the blanks, contextual vocabulary, match the following, analogy, right? And I've incorporated some words there, right? So you'll have to tell me the root behind those words. We'll discuss the meanings, okay? And of course, according to the question instructions, we'll also solve the questions. Then the idea is that you are able to memorize some words related to a particular root right in the session, right during the session. You cement those words and therefore you remember the words according to such roots for a long period of time. That's the agenda, right? Hi Swachhata, good afternoon. Okay. So your first question out here is an antonym question. If you see, you will find a pattern in all the four options. There's something common in all the four options. You have to tell me what it is, what it means, and of course, you have to answer the question. So tell me, what is the antonym of the word diurnal? Yes, I expect 100% accuracy in this question on everyone's part. Right. Our first question, easy question. Okay. All right. Amrit says 1. Kartike A. Okay. Good, Amrit. Mandeep says A. Shreya A. Maitri 1. All right. So, diurnal. Die. Okay. Here, this die refers to day. So diurnal means happening during the day, happening during the daytime. So daytime activities are diurnal activities. The opposite of it is nocturnal. Yes, nocturnal activities are nighttime activities. If I call someone a nocturnal creature, that means this creature does not sleep at night, is active during the night. So nocturnal. Here this noct, this nox, it means night. Okay, so this is the root here that we are going to study through this question. Noct, nox, which means night. So tell me the meaning of noctambulist. Guess the meaning of this word noctambulist. Yes, noctambulist. What does it mean? It's related to ambulance. Yes, it looks related to ambulance. Okay, so when I say ambulatory, if I use just the word ambulatory, ambulatory, it is related to movement. Okay, when I say amble, she is ambling. That means she is moving in an aimless manner. So ambulance, ambulatory, noctambulist, these are all concerned with walking. Okay, these are all concerned with movement. So ambulance is also called an ambulance because it carries a patient, right? It carries a patient. So uh, ambulatory related to walking, amble to walk in an aimless manner, walk in an aimless manner. Noctambulist, somebody who walks at the night time. There are people no sleep who do sleepwalking. They are called sleepwalkers. So a noctambulist is a sleepwalker. Okay, a sleepwalker. It's a noun. I hope this is clear now. Ambulance, ambulatory, amble, noctambulist, all of them share this root. Okay, ambular, which is concerned with movement, and noct is night. So somebody who walks at night, a sleepwalker, is a noctambulist. Okay, guess this one. This is easy. Nyctophobia. This noct here becomes nict. Nyctophobia. Oh, sorry, here it is nyctophobic, so it's an adjective. Nyctophobic. So a person who is nyctophobic, come on, be participative. You have to tell me the meanings of all the words. You have to guess the meanings through the roots. Fear of dark. Yes, fear of dark. That is called nyctophobia. I'm writing it here. Fear of dark or darkness. Right? Equinox. This phenomenon when the duration of day and night is equal. This is called equinox. Happens sometime in November, if I'm not wrong. Equinox. So when the day and the night's duration becomes equal, that is called equinox. Equal night in a way, right? So nox mean night, nocturnal, noctambulist, nyctophobia, equinox, all are related words, right? Hope you'll remember these. And also I hope you'll remember the root that you know that strings the words ambulance, ambulatory, amble, noctambulist together. Okay, noctambulist, another synonym for this is also somnambulance, somnambulist, somnambulist. Okay, again, somnus means sleep, so sleepwalker is also called a somnambulist. Somnambulist. Okay, what is happening, right? So noctambulist का ही synonym है वो. All right. Coming to a synonym question now. We've just seen an antonym question. Let me see what you say here. Again, the questions are not very difficult. You'll be able to guess the answer. I want you to guess the root also, to tell me the meanings of all the words also. That's the goal today. Yes. Okay, I've got the answer. Amrit says two, but is it the correct answer? Do we agree? Yes. Is it the correct answer? or the other words. So connive, to connive with someone. He connived with his brother to, let's say, I don't want to have use a negative sentence, but let's say to kill a common friend. Yes, he connived with his brother to kill a common friend. So what did he do? He conspired with him. Yes, he colluded with him. So to collude is to connive. Absolutely correct. Why do I see so few responses? No negative marking here, right? I'm not. So you can make free guesses. Yes, feel free to guess. It's okay if you get it wrong. I'm not judging you. So connive is to collude. Now, allude, collude, delude, elude all seem to share a root here. Yes, the root is called ludere actually. If I give you the precise root, ludere. And it also forms the root of the game Ludo. So, ludere means to play. Okay, what is ludology? Have you heard this term? Ludology. Anybody? It's a field. So, what would it concern itself with, this field? It's actually a very popular field these days, the study of games, gaming, video gaming, especially because nowadays AI based video games, metaverse based video games, they are becoming increasingly popular, right? So the study of gaming is called ludology. Ludere means to play. Now, you must be thinking, how are these words related to playing? So when you collude, basically you in a way play together. You are conspiring with the other person, teaming with the other person to do something. When you allude to something, you very playfully, in a way, you playfully hint towards it. You hint towards it. That is when you allude to something. You refer to it, but you don't directly name it. Right? When you delude something, it's like you're playing with their mind. You are trying to deceive them. You are trying to manipulate them. Right? That is to delude someone. So, to deceive is to delude. When you elude, again, it's like you're playing hide and seek. You escape. Yes? If I say peace eludes him, that means he is unable to achieve peace. Peace is as if it's as if peace is escaping him. If I say the prisoner eluded the cops, that means the prisoner is has successfully evaded the cops, right? So elude is to escape. So all of these are related to the root. They come from the root ludere, which means to play, which also forms the root of ludo, ludology, and all these words. Yes. So I hope you'll remember all these words together now. Allude, elude, delude, collude. And I hope you'll not confuse one with the other. Right? Illusion also shares this root, in case you're wondering this. Illusion also shares this root. It's like your mind is playing games with you when you see an illusion. When we see a mirage, let's say, in a desert, it's a mind playing games with us. Right? Okay. Let's come to the next root then. The dash stones have resisted atmospheric influences. So I see some common roots, one common root at least, and one common suffix also, OUS. What do these words mean? Which word fits? Tell me. Which word fits in the blank? A fill in the blank question now. What do you say? Okay, Saif says two. Why? Because it appears different. Is that the reason, Saif? Okay. Facetious, I think you should know. We've done it in previous sessions, yes? Okay, a lot of you say two. All right. Five, okay. Harshad says five. Amrit says four. All right, all right. Fraction and fractious share a root. You are right. Fraction and fractious, they share a root. Okay, but the answer here, only one student I think has got it correct. Yes, the answer here is factitious. Factitious. 4 is the answer. Let's see why. Okay, so the root here is fact. Fact and fic both mean to do or to do something, to make something, to manu in a way, when you manufacture something, when you do something, or to get something done, to get something made. So factitious means made artificially. Factitious is made artificially. So something that's artificial is factitious. So the artificial stones, the man-made stones, so to say, have resisted atmospheric influences. That's what I want to say here. The other words don't match this context. Let's see why. When I call something facile, when I call something facile, it can be used positively also and negatively also. Okay. All right. Yes, factitious is artificial. Uh, I mean, it could be used for something that's fake, but the primary intention is it's not natural. Okay. So I was saying facile. Now, it's used in a positive sense as well as in a negative sense. In a negative sense, it means something that is very superficial, something that's not very thorough. Okay. So let's say, uh, if I say that, you are treating this issue at a very facile level, just let's go deeper, let's dig deeper and let's discuss it in depth, right? So that is one meaning of facile. However, in case some of you are fond of watching sports, yes, hearing sports commentaries, you must have heard commentators saying, oh, this was a facile victory. Why would they call it a superficial victory? Right? They are appreciative of the team. That is one. That's when they use it. So facile also means effortless. Okay, that's another meaning. So one is superficial. See, superficial. Again, it has pick. Done in a very non-thorough manner. Okay, not so thorough manner. Also, it means effortless, as if you didn't have to do anything. As if you did not have to do anything. Okay. Then, what else? What else? Which other words do you know the meaning of? Facetious, we have done in our previous sessions. Yes. Somebody who is jocular in an irreverent way. Flippant is a synonym. I told you that. Okay, somebody who is humorous, jocular, but in an irreverent way, in a disrespectful way. When we crack jokes at others' expenses. Okay, so ये भी नहीं answer, ये भी नहीं हो सकता, right? They don't fit at all. Fractious and factious, they are actually two commonly confused words, and they, you know, it's also understandable why they are confused. Factious, those who read newspapers, you must have read the word faction somewhere or the other. Faction, yes. So a faction basically is a smaller group, let's say within a political party or within a bigger organization, within a bigger group. When there is a smaller group that does not agree with the ideology or that does not agree with the current actions, etc., of the bigger group, that is called a faction. So a factious person, okay, a factious person or a factious body will be a seditious body. Sedition, again, another word that you should know the meaning of. When you do something that is against an established authority, you are guilty of sedition. So, a factious action, a factious person, a factious body is a seditious body. Somebody who acts against the larger group, right? Somebody who disagrees with the larger group and makes this very clear. Fractious, on the other hand, is a very general term. It's not this politically loaded. It's not as politically loaded as factious. Fractious you can use for your neighbor also, right? Somebody who is very quarrelsome, somebody who is very troublesome. That person is a fractious person, right? जिसको लड़ने में मजा आता हो, yes, जिसको trouble देने में मजा आता हो, that person is fractious. So this you can use, let's say, for anybody who is anybody in your surroundings also. This is usually a politically loaded term. It's used for organizations, parties, etc. ठीक है, सबको समझ में आ गया? इतना सन्नाटा चैट बॉक्स में, yes, such silence. Okay. Facile, fractious, factious. So stones can't be factious, stones can't be fractious also, right? Facile. So no other words actually fitted at all. I just included these in the options to teach you the roots fac and pick. Frac, of course, means a part. It, of course, means a part. So somebody who likes to quarrel, likes to stay apart, right? Fraction ka bhi yahi idea na, it's a broken, like to break. So that's the idea. That's how they are related, right? Okay. So factitious was the word there. Factious, yes, you could associate it with rebellion. Yes, yes, correct, correct. All right. So, Saif, you should also target the same. Yes, I hope all of you have a similar target. 16 out of 15. Yes. I wonder though how much all of you all will score in the math section if let's say you are saying 16 out of 15. Yes. So fill in the blanks. Tell me what should come in this blank. Very easy question. All the best, Rushi. Amrit says 1. Okay. The building was sealed and all ingress or dash of the pass outs was prohibited. Okay. 2 also. All right. What else? One. All right. All right. 2 to 5. Okay. Good. 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 Shreya says 1. Abhiram also says 1. All right. So basically, ingress, ingress. Gress means to move. So I, of course, you've guessed this by now that gress is the route that we are doing through this. It's a fairly common route. Okay. Gress to move. So progress is to move ahead. Regress is to move back. Literally, it would mean to move back. Let's say, seeing the opponent's strength, the army regressed. Seeing the opponent's strength, the army regressed. So let's say my army regressed because it saw that the opponents also looked very strong and there were a large number of them, right? So this is the literal meaning to move back. However, it is also used in terms of, let's say, going back in development. So if I say this is a very regressive idea, that means it's an idea that will take us back in time. It's a backward idea. So that's also one of the meanings. Okay, one is to literally move back, one is to move back in your thoughts, development, etc. Of course, they can't come here, ingress or regress. Ingress basically is entry. So I am saying entry or exit. Okay, entry or exit. So E is out. E is out. So entry or exit. Absolutely correct. The others did not fit here. Digress, transgress. Again, guess. Die, trans. So die is to through. When you digress, and in fact, one of the meanings of die is also away. Prefixes can have multiple meanings. Okay, so die can mean through also. Die can mean away also. Right? Here it means away. So when you digress, if I say please don't digress from the issue, let's just stick to the point. That means I'm saying just don't just go away from the issue. Don't just ramble something else. Just stick to the issue. Don't beat around the bush. So digress is to move away from the path. Move away from the path. Does not fit at all. And transgress. Transgress. So trans is through. A transgression is actually a violation of some accepted rule. So when you transgress, you do something that is not accepted in your society. You violate some rule. That is a transgression. So transgress has a negative connotation to it. It means to violate something, to transgress. Right. So all ingress or egress here, but you learned a number of words from gress: progress, regress, transgress, digress. I hope you will remember them. Yes. Yes, yes. Digression is actually a very common reading mistake, or let's say a reading habit of students. Okay, that when they read, let's say their thoughts digress. Okay, so they're reading about something, then they'll start thinking about it. So that's why their flow will be inhibited. Okay, they'll stop. So digression is a problem. Okay, even regression is a problem when it comes to reading. Students tend to go back and reread text. So with continuous reading, with continuous practice, we have to eliminate both these habits: regression also and digression of our thoughts also. Okay. Yes, transgress is to break the law. Correct, correct. Violate a rule. Okay. So now again you have to fill in the blank and you have to see what fits best here. As usual, take the help of the context and you will land at the correct answer. Yes. Let's see. Waiting for your responses. Five options this time. Okay, that says five. It says two or five. Okay, two. All right. Two or four. Okay. So Daksh, Anshifa, Maitri, Shreya, Shubham, all of you say five. Okay. Kush says four. Somesh also says four. All right. Sankirtana 5, Mandeep 4, Arya 4. All right. So 4 versus 5 it is. Yes, that's what I see in the chat box. 4 versus 5. Now, what did this support? What kind of laws were being supported? It's something that must have, be something that must have been against interracial relationships. Not only did most lawmakers support dash laws in the late 19th century, but interracial relationships were not accepted by a majority of Americans. So it was not accepted legally also, and it was a social taboo as well. That's what I'm trying to convey here. So some law that is against interracial relationship, that should come here. Genocide, no. Genocide is not about interracial relationships. Okay, it's only miscegenation that is about interracial relationships. So it's a derogatory term. Okay, important to tell you so that you don't use it freely. Miscegenation was this idea. Mis means something that's bad, right? Mis is used for a misogynist, let's say somebody who hates women, right? Mis is also used for, let's say, a mistake, something that's bad or something that's in the nature of an error. So miscegenation was basically the reproduction between two people from different races. Okay, resulting in, let's say, a biracial child or a yeah, basically that was the idea of miscegenation. So miscegenation was again frowned upon by the society till even the 1900s, 1990s, sorry, as late as 1990s, not just the 1900s. And also a lot of laws existed against it back when, discriminatory racial laws existed. The US abolished those laws though, right? So reproduction between people from different races, that is called miscegenation. It is a derogatory term. Okay, so such laws which supported them were called miscegenation laws. Okay, so that's why fourth is the answer. Now let's eliminate the others, and the root, of course, that I'm trying to teach you here is gen, which means birth. Yes, genesis, genes, birth. So genocide, killing of people based on their race, ethnicity, etc. That is called genocide. Primogeniture is actually not related to this. Prim means prime, first, right? First. Gen, born. So the state of being the firstborn child is called primogeniture. The state of being the firstborn child is called primogeniture, right? So a lot of kingdoms have this rule that the firstborn child will actually become the king. Okay, usually the eldest son, right? So this right of succession that is given to or bestowed upon the eldest son, this is also called primogeniture, this right. So this is not related to interracial relationships at all. Primogeniture. Okay. Okay. Carcinogenic, something that can give birth to cancer, right? Carcinogens. All of us must have heard this. Carcinogens, basically cancer producing cells. So carcinogenic, something that can result in cancer. So for instance, we say these categories of plastics can be carcinogenic. Okay. Now, the question that indigenous is also related. I agree. Indigenous means laws that are native to your country. In that sense, you can use indigenous, right? However, this is a very broad term when it comes to interracial relationships. Indigenous laws. See, again, indigenous laws, even if I categorize them as such, कि हमारे अपने laws as opposed to some foreign laws, then also they can be of multiple kinds, right? So our native laws also can be of multiple types. They need not necessarily be related to interracial relationships. So when we have four, we will not choose five. Okay. Hope this makes sense. Yes, cancer causing. Absolutely, absolutely. Somesh, Amrit. Okay. So primal. Okay, I understand. Primordial, primal, primate. All of them have this prim as its root. Primordial, primal, primate, right? Which means the first. Prime also has this as the root, the first, right? So primordial, something that is first order. Ordeal comes from order. So if I talk about the primordial times, if I call something primordial, that means it's ancient. Okay, primal. Okay, primal instinct. There's this movie, right? No, that's basic instinct. Sorry. So when I talk about primal, that again is related to something that's very basic to human beings. Primal fear, a movie. Yes, primal fear. So something that's very that's there in us. It was inbuilt in us because of evolution. That is primal, right? So basic, fundamental. Then prime minister, of course. Primate, again, because they existed before human beings. They were our ancestors, hence primates. Right? So I hope you get this. Primogeniture is also related that way. So we've done two roots here, prim and gen. I hope you'll remember at least this term miscegenation, right? We should know about such terms, okay? Genocide, miscegenation, so as to be more aware politically. Um, okay. This is now contextual vocabulary. You have to give me the word that is closest in meaning to this word here. Very easy. Yes. Prima facie evidence. Correct. Correct, Kush. Prime numbers. Yes. We need to disaggregate the demographic data to get better insights. So what do we need to do? You have to find the word that is closest in meaning. Mandeep says 4. Amrit 1. Somesh 1. Okay. Kavya 1. All right. Kush says 2. Okay. All right. All right. Desegregation is also again a politically important term. We'll see this. We'll see this. 1, 2, 4. Okay. Let's have a look. No, desegregate is not the answer. See, this is disaggregate. Aggregate is to collect together. Disaggregate would be to separate, in a way, break into component parts. Break into or separate into component parts. That's the meaning. But if you look at desegregate, segregate means to separate. So what will desegregation be? Assimilate. Okay, so desegregate is the opposite of disaggregate. It means to assimilate. That you had segregated something earlier, now you are assimilating it back. Now you are assimilating it back, mixing it back in a way, right? So, desegregation is a term that is again used for racial. The policy earlier, there used to be a policy of racial segregation, right? In the US, particularly, there was a lot of discrimination. So, when this was ended, this policy of racial segregation was ended, this was called desegregation, ending the separation of groups based on races, right? So, that's one meaning of desegregate. Another meaning is to simply assimilate. Aggregate, you understand, to collect something together. Exaggerate is not related, it was just similar sounding. Basically does not share the root grudge or grudges. It was just similar sounding, that's why I put it here. Okay. Disarticulate is the word here. Disarticulate again means to disjoin something, right? It's used in the medical field, wherein they actually disjoin two bones, right? That is called disarticulate. It's also used in logic. So if you disarticulate your opponent's argument, in a way you destroy the logic of your opponent's argument. That's when you disarticulate it. You dispute its logic, right? Okay. So the answer here is 4 because it shares a similar meaning to disjoin, okay, or to uh, disrupt, destroy the logic of an argument. ठीक है, clear ये सबको? हाँ, so disarticulate is a new word that we must have learned. Desegregate is to assimilate, although it might not look like it. Okay, and the root here is grudges, which means, what does grudges mean? Yes, anybody who's read Word Par Made Easy? Oh, emotionally हो गया Mandeep. Why? Why is that? Acha, you got it correct. Oh, okay, great. It means a flock or a group. A flock or a group, right? So a gregarious person, a gregarious person, somebody who's very um, who's very social. So that person likes to stay in a group. Okay, that person is a gregarious person, a very fun loving person who is very social. Then an egregious mistake. Again, these words that I'm telling you right now, aggregate, segregate, gregarious, egregious, all of them are there in word par medicine. Egregious, anybody, egregious. This is an egregious mistake. I'm afraid I can't forgive it. It is so bad that it stands out from the group. See, Greg or Gregis is group, right? E means out. X becomes E when you join it with the other words, right? So X means out. It stands. It's so bad that it stands out from the group. Okay. So bad so as to be noticeable. So bad that it is noticeable. So if I say my neighbor's singing is egregious, that means it's so bad that everybody can see it. Okay, perfect. So grudges is the root that we learned through this, and I hope you'll remember the term desegregation, disarticulate, okay, particularly in the context of logic, right? Because of course you'll most likely not be using it in the medicinal sense. Okay, now the word underlined below does not fit the given context. Okay, it does not fit the given context. Substitute it with a word that does fit. Yes, it's called a murder of crows, Mandeep. Okay, Satyansh says 2. Amrit says 2. Sankirtana 4. If the children are predictable, are they difficult to tolerate? RS says 2. Okay. Maitri 2. Swachita says 1. Okay. Erroneous. They are mistaken children. They are false children. Flawed children. Flawed, okay, but then also I can't use erroneous in that sense. Something that is erroneous has an error. Has an error. So I can say, okay, this is an erroneous question. Right? But you can't use it for children. So 1 is out of the window. Similarly, if they are predictable, then I don't think that tolerating them would become really difficult. Okay, now these two are close. 2 and 3 are close. Yes. So Mandeep, then you say 2 or 3? Which one do you think fits better with this idea of being indisciplined? Those children who misbehave, erratic or errant? Yes, giving you some time to introspect. The answer is errant. 3 is the answer, not 2. See, erratic is when somebody's behavior is not predictable, right? So, erratic behavior, unpredictable behavior. Errant, on the other hand, is misbehaving. Children who misbehave, children who are, again, basically, these children are very naughty children. They misbehave. So, errant children makes more sense as compared, because you're talking about not being able to tolerate them. So, if they misbehave with you, you'll not be able to tolerate them. Erratic simply means unpredictable. Okay, so people sometimes, there are people who are suffering from some mental disorders, they behave erratically. Old people, when their cognitive abilities decline, they can also behave erratically. So misbehaving fits better here rather than unpredictable. That's why 3, 2 and 3 were close here. Okay. All right. So the root, of course, here is err. Err means a mistake. Okay. It's related to error. And usually, it means basically to go away from a set path. To go away from a set path. That's the idea. The idea of errant is also somebody who does not behave in a socially accepted way. Right. So digressing from the path, that is the closest meaning of this root err. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Erroneous, erratic, errant, predictable. Okay, चलें आगे. चलो, let's see match the following question, not miss the following question. Uh, 4 words here. These are the meanings. You have to match the words with the meanings. Yes, or synonyms. Let's see. Winsome. Winsome is somebody who's very appealing, attractive. Okay. Somebody who has a pleasing personality. That person is winsome. So, of course, if the children were winsome, you would not find any issue in tolerating them. Okay. Attractive, appealing, pleasing. Okay. Let's see what you say. Amrit says 2. Okay. Maitri 3. Kavya 3. Very close, 2 and 3 are. Kush says 1. Even 1 and 4 are close. Okay. So here, see, you could eliminate. For instance, indoctrination appears to be a very common word here. Even doctored. Again, if you read the newspapers, you're aware of current events. So this is a word that does figure in newspapers, like doctored tapes. Those tapes were doctored, right? Those videotapes, let's say, those audio tapes, they were doctored. Indoctrination, again, you must have heard in the context of, let's say, uh, they are trying to indoctrinate children. That means they are trying to fill the children with their own ideologies. That is indoctrination. When you instill some beliefs in someone else and you ask them to accept them unquestioningly, uncritically, that is indoctrination. Right. So here you can see that indoctrination is the only noun. Okay, docile is an adjective. Docent is actually a noun. Doctored is again an adjective. Does that help me much? It does, okay. But if in the exam you do not know this, I think indoctrination lecturer से नहीं match करता है. So one, sorry, 2D, अच्छा 2D, 2 and A was already given. I am sorry, my bad. I should have seen the options once. 2 and A is already given. It's 1C versus 1D. ठीक है. So docile से start करते हैं फिर. Docile is not a lecturer. Docile anyway is an adjective, so it cannot match a noun as such. Docile means tractable. So this eliminates 1 and 4. 2 versus 3. So if you call someone docile, that means that they're very obedient, compliant. Okay, biddable is a synonym, tractable is a synonym. So tractable आ गया अब it's between 3 and 4. 3 is B or D. See, docent is a lecturer, okay, and doctored means something that is that has been tampered with. These tapes are not original. They have been tampered, they have been corrupted, or in a way contaminated. They have been perverted. Something that's perverted is also corrupted. So that's a synonym there, doctored ka, 4B. Okay, our answer is going to be option 2. So yes, do solve through options here. I forgot to see that 2 is A, so I did not have to pay attention to 2 at all. I rather had to pay attention to the others. Okay? Good, those who said 2. So match the following. I like them because we need not know the meanings of all the words and still we'll be able to attempt the question. Proselytizing again means when you try to convert someone's religion, when you try to change their beliefs radically, that is called proselytizing. So it's a related word. Indoctrination से related. ठीक है? Hence 2. All right. Last question for the day. The word that I was trying to teach you, the root that I was trying to teach you here is doc. Dossier, actually, if I want to be more precise, but you can remember doc also. It means to teach. It means to teach. Okay, a doctor, the term doctor earlier was not used for your medicine wala doctor. It was used for your teachers, right? A teacher was actually a doctor because, and that is why, doctorate of philosophy, PhD, mein there is a doctor. That's one of the reasons. Then, because the doctor also, in a way, gives a prescription. The medical doctor again gives a prescription. It's in a way, the person is very authoritative and tells you what to do. That's why they also were called doctors later on. So to doc means to teach. That is why a docent, a lecturer who teaches, is called a docent, right? Then when I talk about indoctrination, it's meant to teach you those beliefs, right? A docile person can be taught very easily, right? So document is meant to teach you something. A document, something that is meant to teach you something, something from which you learn something. These are the words from the root dossier, doc. ठीक है? I hope बहुत सारे roots नहीं हो गए हैं and you'll remember all of these. The last is simply a prefix D. The prefix D means away, down, off. These are some meanings. Yes. So tell me, you have to tell me which of them, which of these share a similar relationship with degenerate is to debased. Yes. Quick answers. Let's see who answers accurately here. Degenerate is to debased. What should come here? Let's see. Sankirtana has answered the fastest. She says 3, declivity. Okay. So, what is the relationship? The relationship between the original words is that of, okay, 2 I've got. All right, 3. Okay. So it's 2 versus 3, is it? See, degenerate is to debase, something that is in a degenerate condition. Or if I call someone degenerate, that means one meaning is that, okay, they are immoral, right? They are immoral. Again, in medicine, when I say that these cells are degenerative cells, okay, that means gradually these cells are, I think that if I call a condition a degenerative condition, that means it's going to worsen. So one idea is associated with deterioration also, degenerate. So if I call a person degenerate, that means they're immoral, they're corrupt, okay, they are not a good person, right? And in a medicinal sense, when something degenerates, it basically worsens in its quality. Okay, that is degenerate. Debased, same idea. Again, corrupted, immoral, same idea. Synonyms. Two is the answer because when you detest someone, you despise them, you simply abhor them, you dislike them. Okay, you are contemptuous towards them. So ये synonym है. Declivity means a downward slope. Okay, declivity has a very specific meaning. It's a downward slope, not just any slope. Upward slope नहीं है उसका meaning. Hence, this is not synonymous. Decadent, again, something that is on decline. Decadent civilization, some of you must remember this. Yes, if I say that this is a decadent civilization, that means gradually it is going to degenerate. It's on the decline. Scrupulous, and decadent is also used for corrupt people. Okay, also used for corrupt. Scrupulous, on the other hand, is a very moral person, a very righteous person. So, antonymous ideas. ये antonym हो गया. This is not very specific. Two is the answer. Demur is to protest. This is from your previous session, so those who attended would know these words. While acquiesce is to accept reluctantly. So these are also antonymous. ठीक है. 1 4 rejected, not similar relationship. 3 not specific. 2 is the answer. D was the prefix here, right? Decadent chocolate cake, see here, basically when you indulge in a lot of luxury, na, that is also called decadent. So here the decadent chocolate cake means rich, luxurious. So the connotation is negative. When you indulge in luxury so much that it's not good, right? It's a lot of religions say this, no, that excess of luxury is also bad. It's one of the sins. So in that sense, decadent has been used here, right? Like that sinful chocolate cakes or decadent chocolate cake, something that's very indulgent, very luxurious, right? Hope this makes sense. So we learned some roots today. Yes, if you want to quickly go through them, D, which is a prefix, which means away, down, off. So you could see that all these words were related to down or uh, downfall, so to say. Then dock, dossier, to be precise, air, uh, then gregis, then the root gen, gress. Gress and gregis are different. Fac, fic, which means to do or to make. Ludo or ludere, which means to play. And nox and noct, which means night. Right? So I hope you will remember these words, these roots, and these question types. Anyway, and yes. Please suggest any book for beginners for psychology, humanities, etc. So for psychology, beginners can start with, let's say, The Power of Habit. I admire it. This book by Charles Duhigg. The Interpretation of Dreams by Sigmund Freud. It's not a long book, so you'll be able to go through it, and it's not very difficult also. Then psychology, particularly. I can tell you something about behavioral economics, which has a lot of psychological element in it. So you will appreciate this book, Predictably Irrational. Predictably Irrational. Okay. So this, and I think Man's Search for Meaning, that can also come in this category by Viktor Frankl. Man's Search for Meaning. So these you can try. Okay. And for humanities, see, humanities is a very broad term. If you're asking about history, then for beginners, I think you can start with it. Okay, so see if you find it interesting. अगर अच्छी लगे तो पढ़ना पूरी आगे. This one, India After Gandhi. It's a long book, but it's interesting. I found it interesting. ठीक है. So can start with it. Otherwise, I think you can go for Sapiens. It's shorter as compared to India After Gandhi, and you will like it also. I'm very sure. Right? ठीक है. I hope these suggestions help you. And yes, this is our CAT 23 program. Do suggest it to your friends who are preparing for CAT 23. In case you are preparing, do enroll, right? And these are all the features under it. We prepare you in a very comprehensive manner for all the exams, for the second stage and everything. Right? Do join us for Snap 22 analysis at 6 p.m. and we'll also be there with the first impressions right after the exam. Okay. We are launching a last lap to IIFT because some of you demanded a separate last lap for it. So 10th December, it is already begun. Okay. Or today's 10th, just a second. Whatever the case is, at 7 p.m. Do join us. Okay. And 14th to 23rd, we'll be launching a ZAT 23 All India Open Mock. Do take it. You do need to attempt mocks when it comes to that. Right? Facebook, Instagram, you know, you can stay connected with us here, and through Telegram also we can stay connected. All right, then. Welcome all of you. Bye bye. Hope you learned some new things. See you tomorrow. Bye. No, see you on Tuesday now. For that, we will have sessions. Don't worry, Sankirtana. We'll have dedicated sessions. We have some planned this month. We have a lot of them planned this month. Okay, so don't worry. All right. Bye bye.